Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. We're talking about the aims and objectives of Imam Hussein alayhi salam when he did not pay allegiance with Yazid. He did not accept his kingdom, and he very clearly and openly announced and declared that I will stand against him. He is an oppressor ruler, and I have to stand against his oppressions. Then we want to know that what were his objectives. The objectives of his movement should be drawn and deduced from his own sayings. The first objective was the revival of Islam, because Islam up to that time, in fact, had already been changed, had altered, and the way of Islam had gone astray by the rulers of the Umayyad for 50 years after the demise of the Holy Prophet of Islam. And Imam Hussein alayhi salam, in fact, by the blood he gave in this way, by his own blood, in fact, he watered the tree of Islam. So the first aim was revival of Islam. The second aim was enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. This is one of the most important commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-amru bil-ma'ruf wal-nahyu anil munkar. And the third objective of Imam Hussein was establishment of the Islamic government, al-hukuma al-islamiyya, a divine leadership, a divine government, a divine reign. Maybe some people will get surprised to hear that Imam Hussein alayhi salam had such an aim and objective. But there is no way, there is no place for surprise. Because if you study the history carefully, especially the history of all prophets, you will see that all prophets were trying to establish a divine government. Why? Because the main object, the main aim and goal of all prophets was to develop the social justice and to establish the spiritual values, divine values. How they can do it? They needed tools, they needed a means, and government is one of the best way to reach to that objective. If in the Holy Quran we are reading and reciting that all prophets wanted to establish justice in the communities, to implement the divine regulations and laws, implementation, administration of the divine laws needed tools and means, and government was one of that. So they were always trying to achieve it, not because they considered the government to be holy, no. They were not such type of people like kings and rulers to have carnal desires and to like to be on power, no. Power by itself was not holy for prophets, but power and government was a good tool and means in their hands. It was in fact a mediator for implementation their aims. Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam also had the same aims and objectives. He wanted to implement the teachings of Islam in the community. He wanted to develop justice. He wanted to develop the Islamic values among the people. How? He needed government. By establishment government, he could reach to those objectives very easily. So we mustn't say, because Islam is not a religion of secularism. Islam does not say that prophets, imams, divine leaders have come only to be the leaders in the mosque and to talk only about fasting and observing prayer and nothing else. No, Islam is a package, is a complete religion. It is, in fact, a complete code of life. Islam has come to handle the different aspects of the life of mankind. Political aspect, social aspect, economical aspect, psychological aspect, and many other aspects. So divine leaders have not come only to talk about prayer, fasting, alms, and nothing else. No. If we see that in the history they were not on power because the tyrants, the oppressors, the rulers, the arrogant, the superpowers did not allow them to have the government. Otherwise, they wanted. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam also had this objective. And for reaching to this objective, he did some type of activities. I will mention these actions that he did to reach to that goal one after another. The first action that Imam Hussein alayhi salam to reach to that Islamic government he did is to refuse to pay allegiance with Yazid, son of Muawiyah. Because if he accepted his ruling, if he accepted his dynasty, then he could not stand and talk about an Islamic government. So for the first step, what Imam Hussein alayhi salam did was to reject the call of Yazid to submit. He did not submit to Yazid. Let's look at the history. In the history we read that when he was asked by one of the companions that why you did not pay allegiance to Yazid, what was the reply of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, إني لا أبايع له أبدا لأن الأمر إنما كان لي من بعد أخي الحسن. I will not pay allegiance to Yazid because this issue, this affair, he means the government, the ruling of the people, the leadership of the people, it is for me after my brother Imam Hassan alayhi salam. We deserve to be the rulers of the people. In the book of Maqtalul Hussein by Kharazmi, volume 1, you will find this saying of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So in the first step, Imam Hussein did not accept the ruling of Yazid. This was the first step. He continued to do some more actions that inshallah I will talk about them in next program. Until then, thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.